In the year 300 BC, in the prosperous and vibrant city of Cyprus, there lived a man named Zeno. Zeno wasn't just an ordinary man. He was a wealthy merchant whose life revolved around trade and commerce. His days were filled with the hustle and bustle of business, ensuring that his wealth and influence grew with every passing year. From the outside, it looked like Zeno had everything anyone could ever want. But as life often reminds us, nothing is guaranteed. One day, while on a voyage from Phoenicia to Piraeus, tragedy struck. A violent storm tore through the seas, sinking Zeno's ship and with it, all the cargo he had spent years accumulating. In a matter of hours, Zeno lost everything he had worked for, his wealth, his livelihood, and what seemed to be his future. This was no small setback. It was an earth-shattering event, the kind that would leave most people devastated and lost. Now put yourself in Zeno's position. Imagine everything you've built, everything you've dreamed of, vanishing in an instant. How would you react? Would you be overwhelmed by anger? Consumed by sorrow? Would you blame life or the gods for the injustice? These responses are natural for most people, but Zeno wasn't like most people. Instead of letting despair consume him, Zeno saw this catastrophic loss as an opportunity. This moment of devastation became the foundation for a new way of thinking, a way of life that would influence countless others for thousands of years. After his shipwreck, Zeno made his way to Athens. While wandering the city, he stumbled upon a bookshop and began reading works by Socrates and other philosophers. These texts sparked something profound within him. They presented ideas about life, control, and the human mind that deeply resonated with his own experiences. What struck Zeno most was the realization that while we cannot control the external world, storms, shipwrecks, or the loss of wealth, we have full control over how we respond to these events. This revelation led Zeno to develop a philosophy of life rooted in reason, resilience, and acceptance. He began teaching his ideas, gathering followers, and eventually founding what we now know as Stoicism. At its heart, Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions or becoming indifferent to life. It's about understanding the nature of the world and aligning our reactions with what truly matters. Zeno taught that there are two categories of things in life: those we can control and those we cannot. We cannot control the weather, the opinions of others, or the past, but we can control our thoughts, our choices, and our actions. By focusing on what we can influence, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. For example, instead of mourning the loss of his wealth, Zeno chose to focus on the wisdom he had gained. He saw the shipwreck not as a punishment, but as a catalyst for personal growth. This mindset allowed him to rebuild his life, not as a merchant, but as a philosopher and teacher. Over time, Zeno's ideas attracted many followers. His teachings emphasized virtues such as courage, wisdom, justice, and moderation. These weren't just abstract concepts, they were practical tools for living a good life. Stoicism offered a way to navigate life's inevitable hardships while maintaining inner peace. The legacy of Zeno and the Stoics can be seen in the works of later philosophers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius. Epictetus, a former slave, wrote about freedom, not as the absence of chains, but as the mastery of one's mind. Seneca, a statesman and advisor to emperors, taught how to balance wealth and power with humility and virtue. And Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, showed how Stoicism could guide even the most powerful people to act with justice and integrity. Today, Stoicism remains as relevant as ever. In a world filled with uncertainty, anxiety, and rapid change, the Stoic principles of focus, resilience, and acceptance provide a timeless guide for modern living. Stoicism isn't about ignoring emotions. It's about understanding them. It's about learning to process pain, disappointment, and fear in ways that help us grow stronger, not weaker. Zeno's story reminds us that even in our darkest moments, there is an opportunity for growth and transformation. The Stoics believed that challenges are not obstacles, but stepping stones. They taught us to see hardships not as curses, but as opportunities to practice courage, patience, and wisdom. Ultimately, Stoicism teaches that the path to peace lies in focusing on what we can control, letting go of what we cannot, and embracing life as it comes. In doing so, we can face even the greatest storms with clarity, strength, and grace.